matters. I don't want to do it if Diddy did it. Did Diddy do it?
Diddy did do it.
Damn it, what didn't Diddy do?
And welcome to Making Law Simple. My name is David Helm. I'm a licensed practicing attorney in the state of Michigan. Today, we're going to answer that question of what didn't Diddy do? Well, actually, I don't know if we're going to answer it or not, but we have some very interesting developments, I guess. Some ties back to the Detroit Police Department, the Wayne County Sheriff, the Wayne County Prosecutor, and a bunch of other people. Is there any truth to this? I don't know. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it today. Hello, everybody, and thank you to Lolita Smiles, who actually brought this to my attention on X, and another YouTuber who was covering this, and I put a link to her video on this very subject in the channel description, so you guys can check it out. I forget her name offhand, but it's very interesting. So, only if he buys. Am I milking horses today? I am not milking horses today. My wife is doing it today, so I'm off the hook, so I can stream to you all. But welcome. All right. So some people might not know who Diddy is. I don't know who those people are. But some people might not know. So I have sort of like a little introduction thing I'm going to pull up, and hopefully you guys can hear it. It's been a while since I've streamed. I'm not sure if I know what I'm doing anymore.
This brother needs no introduction because, to be honest, it's hard to introduce somebody whose name changes every other day, okay? But he's reached such a high level of black excellence that as he continues ascending the ladder of greats, nobody can keep up. Let's welcome the one, the only, the chairman of Revolt, Mr. Can't Stop, Won't Stop, Mr. Combs.
Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, is a truly influential name in the music industry. From his humble beginnings as a songwriter and rapper, Diddy's talent and ambition propelled him to astonishing heights of success, making him one of the most influential moguls in the business.
I'm like any audience member that's out there that had that dream to be somebody and wanting to make this culture a career.
What followed was a fall like nothing else.
I'm going to leave it right there. But yeah, what followed definitely was a fall like nothing else. And to talk about Sean Combs is Sean, potentially criminal. Oh,
yes, a Seanologist. Yes, an expert.
A Seanologist.
An experts on Sean things. Yes.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, no, I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So this is some crazy stuff. So Sean, P Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him, a rapist out of New York, East Side, founder of Bad Boy Records, and he's been in some hot water for the last few years, and currently a guest of the federal pen, from what I understand.
Yes, he's currently in federal custody, and he is not getting out anytime soon.
Yeah,
he either has to win, or he's either going to have to win or go to prison. There's no halfway on this.
Yeah, exactly. There really is no halfway on him. Although, if we want to go with the Bill Cosby, and what's his name, the movie guy, train wreck of prosecutions, there might be some.
I was going to say, we've had so many of those. The way you described it doesn't help.
What's his name? The big movie producer that his
Harvey Weinstein. Harvey
Weinstein. His conviction just got overturned, and it did. His conviction just got overturned by a fairly liberal judge who said that I was watching it on Nate's channel yesterday. He put up a video. It just got overturned because they basically trumped out a bunch of non-relevant prior bad acts evidence in the Court of Appeals. It was like, no, you can't do this. You can't prove somebody's guilty by just saying like, well, he could have been guilty on all the other cases that we didn't.
Oh well, yeah. I thought you meant like his California case, because I knew his New York one had been overturned and he's receiving a new trial. Sorry, I thought you meant like the other one too, and I'm like, wow.
Well, okay, yeah. So the New York one, he still has to deal with the California one. But by way of example, just because there's all these allegations out there, and we're going to go over one today, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to result in a conviction. But
that's true.
But
you also have to think for
what's that?
You also have to think for Harvey, like if those weren't there, would he still be convicted? And I'm betting they probably have a lot of good evidence against him regardless.
Yeah, Nate the lawyer did a great breakdown on the New York case, which I highly recommend anybody go check out. If you guys don't know Nate the lawyer, I was on with him on Friday, and he was chit-chatting about it a little bit, and then he posted a video. But it's a really good analysis as to why, even though you don't like the guy, why his conviction should have been turned over in New York anyway. So check that out. But in the same vein, Diddy is being charged with a little bit different sort of allegation. There's some transporting of individuals and a bunch of other stuff, but all of this came to sort of the forefront in late 2023, and then the lawsuit started, and in June of 2024, a local Detroiter filed a lawsuit. It made big headlines because it actually ended in a default of $100 million judgment against Diddy, which was subsequently overturned. But this is where this all starts. For today's topic is the case of Derek Lee Cordial Smith. I'm just going to call him Mr. Smith. So this is the case of Mr. Smith versus Puff Daddy. And I want to give you guys an idea of who Mr. Smith is before we get going. Now, this is a response to his habeas petition. So this has nothing necessarily to do with this case, but it gives an outline of this gentleman. So Mr. Smith, petitioner, he is confined in the Ionia Maximum Correctional Facility in Ionia, Michigan. Filed a petition for habeas corpus. This is his second. He's filed a ton of them. But the petitioner is serving multiple sentences imposed in separate criminal proceedings in the Wayne County Circuit Court, Michigan Department of Corrections Offender Trafficking Information System, which this court is permitted to take judicial notice of. So he was convicted of 2 counts of third-degree criminal conduct in Wayne County Circuit Court in 1998. And that date is interesting. So pay attention to the date. So that's 98. Petitioner was later convicted, Wayne County Circuit Court in 2008, of 6 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and 2 counts of kidnapping, which is probably not the best. In 2019, he was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct. Okay, so this guy's got a bit of a rap record. He's currently in prison. He's going to be there a long time. And then in June of 2024, he files a lawsuit against Sean Combs. And this is actually the complaint. It was filed in state court and it was transferred to federal court. And after there was procedurally, this is a mess. This guy represents himself, and procedurally, it's a mess. But these are the allegations that we're going to go over here.
David, is this the one where he got the default on and all that too? Or because I was reading through what you sent me, and that's what I thought.
Yeah, so this is the one he got a default on. But essentially, we're going to go down to the damages sought is $100 million, which is funny. In later filings, he'll say it's not just about this assault that he's alleging, but it's about like some breach of contract where he invested in in some sort of business venture with Mr. Combs. However, he says in June 14th, 1994, in the city of Detroit, while the plaintiff was employed as a bartender at a restaurant known as Fishbones. This is a famous restaurant. It's still there. So supposedly in 1997, a bartender at Fishbones is how he's employed. Yet at some point later on, he's able to invest like hundreds of thousands of dollars into a business deal with Diddy.
Well, yeah, because that's totally how that works.
Yeah, I know, right? So while he's employed there, I just love the way you could tell this is improper. So the way he writes this up. It's on Monroe and Brush because that's important, anyways. Was invited to attend a gathering at the Holiday Inn located.
That's how you know it's pro-per. It's like nobody cares where the restaurant is.
I know, and I don't know why the location of the Holiday Inn is redacted. It is for some reason. Where defendant Combs had a social gathering with multiple women and other people in attendance. Plaintiff was excited to attend this gathering and did so because this is Sean Puff Daddy Combs, Bad Boys. Plaintiff had participated in and consumed alcohol with Mr. Combs and the ladies and other security, I guess. Puffy was shockingly cool and someone who seemed like a really decent, normal guy. And then ... which I'm not, until later.
Well, yeah, that's
we
being
really
written.
learned who he was.
It's like he's reading a book. So that's how he thinks how you have to do this.
Yeah, exactly. So plaintiff was astonished and so happy to be able to attend such a thing. And an after party. Wow, just amazing. It's like reading a book, like you said. Plaintiff saw that there were at least 20 women present, and 2 of the women wanted to go into the main suite room, I guess. And they walked in, and Sean motioned me to come with him while 2 guards stood out front. One was C-Note, Terrell, and the other was Mike. And he said, "Have fun, but watch yourself with him." I said, "Him who?" He said, "You'll see. You will see." As the night went on, the women were actually drinking, and I was drinking more and then smoking some weed. I do not smoke weed, but you just said you did, sir. And was happy to be there. I mean, I'm in my 20s, so I was in heaven. I bet he was, right? He's hanging out with 20 women. All
yeah, I mean, what's
naked.
Not to love so far?
I know, right? Hanging out with P Diddy and all this. I
like where the party's going so far.
I know, right?
Up to paragraph 7.
I then started to get naked with the women. And the next thing I know, we were all naked, and Mr. Combs was naked too. And then we were all participating in sexual activity. Then while I was engaged in performing oral sex on one of the ladies, Tanya, I felt a hand stroke my left butt cheek, and it was not soft. It was a man's hand, and I looked up and I saw it was Mr. Combs. I was frozen with fear. I stopped and then needed to calm myself. So I got up and sat on the couch. The ladies were sexually into each other, and I was just frozen and could not move. I then went to get another drink, and Sean asked me if I needed something else. I said no. And he said, "Here, drink this one." And I thought it was another glass of Jim Beam. But I took it. So I took it, and because I had sat one down. Because I had sat one down in the other room.
He thought it was his drink because he had sat one down before.
Oh, I get it now.
Here's your drink back, buddy.
Yeah, and then I stayed sitting there and began getting drowsy and started to pass out. And then Sean Combs said to me, "I added a little something to it for you. I will get that from you. I will get that from you anyway. No way around it." I then passed out. Hours later, I awoken to the woman moaning and Mr. Combs penetrating one of them with his penis in her anal cavity. And then he saw me and said, "I did this to you. Did you like it?" Now, okay, wait a minute. Why would he? I don't know why he would say that, but apparently he said that, according to this complaint. I said, "What?" I ran into the bathroom, checked myself, and saw that I was bleeding and in pain. I ran out and left and never went back. Okay. We're just going to stop right there because obviously the party took a downturn.
Yes.
Assuming this is true, right? It's in a complaint.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to assume for the sake of argument right now that this is true.
Yes, we have to.
Later on, he says that he engaged in business deals with Bad Boy Records and Combs and invested a lot of money. So if this is true, and if you're truly like, these are my damages, why do you go back and continue to work with with.
I agree.
With this guy.
It doesn't make any sense. That's when I read this. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How does this work here? But yeah, he got into a freak off. That's what we're learning.
Yeah. So this complaint ended up in he sought a temporary restraining order against Sean liquidating any of his assets. I have the hearing pulled up from that, and it's not very long, and it's not very there's not a whole lot that's said. But there's first of all, I love the judge reading out the caption, and then there's a discussion, which is improper, and the judge shuts him down. But there's a discussion of a potential settlement agreement. So let me pull that up real quick. So this is this was 6 months ago, and this was in Judge Marie Ansol's courtroom. Let me pull this up. So this is where he starts getting into default.
Derek Lee Cardello Smith, sir?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. This is in the matter of Derek Lee Cardello Smith, MDOC number 267009 versus Sean Puff Daddy Combs, also known as Sean P Diddy, also known as Diddy, Bad Boy Records label owner, founder, also known as Puff P Daddy, Bad Boy Diddy Run the City, Sean Combs, also known as Sean Puffy Combs. And this is
I just love the way she just goes to Diddy Run the City, and it's just everything. Yeah. It's just great.
File number 24-7362NO. We'll grab your paperwork here real quick out of this other paperwork. We do have Mr. Cardello Smith appearing from the Michigan Department of Corrections. Sir, where are you currently located?
I'm located at the Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility, 2500 South Sheridan Drive, Muskegon, Michigan, 49444, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Or Your Honor.
Thank you. So I do see that we do have a proof of service on Mr. Combs, but for purposes of this hearing, you filed a motion for a temporary restraining order and or a preliminary injunction to stop all sales of the property and assets attached to or involved with said property based on the interest of plaintiff and plaintiff's connections to defendant's sexual assault of plaintiff Derek Lee Cardello Smith, requiring a preliminary injunction and or a temporary restraining order. We did set that for hearing today, and luckily the Brooks Correctional Facility was able to make you available. Actually, they had to drive someone up today on another case. So, sir, I have received your motion and a proposed order. Do you wish to argue the motion today, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed then.
Okay, the purpose of it is based on two actions taken by Mr. Combs himself, directly with me here. We did a live one-on-one visit in our prison visiting room. There's 2 meetings within the past 2 weeks with Mr.
So this hearing took place 6 months ago, and he's claiming that Sean showed up in person and had a meeting with him one-on-one in the on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah, which there will be records of that. That's not a
yeah.
Combs on one meeting, and then a financial advisor on the other meeting on Mr. Combs' behalf. And he stated that he would make me an offer to end the case, and what happened to me because of other things that he stated he has going on in his life that require his money right now, and he wants to sell everything off. And he made me a financial offer of $2.3 million to allow what.
What do you think the odds are that Sean actually offered, or through his financial advisor, offered $2.3 million to this guy who's sitting in prison as he's on his way to prison?
Totally real. Totally real. Just like every racist receipt you ever see with the N-word blasted on the tip line. It's totally legitimate. Also, hello, Nick. I saw you out there.
Yeah. Happened to me to go away, and he stated that he's going to be selling his property, and under the 2005 California Civil Code 2881-2885, the creation of liens, which allows out-of-state justices and orders to cause a stop of any title transfer, property transfers in Los Angeles or any other place that he has property. He stated that he wouldn't be able to proceed with that sale. And he did it the day after I served him the suit. And he also said that he won't be filing an answer to the complaint. He said, you can find me in default or whatever. He has a better chance with default than he would with having a restraining order stop. And I said, so you want to hide you want to hide your money and stop from being quite possibly paid to me if I'm given the benefit of a judgment in my favor for what you've done to me. And he pretty much said, yeah. He goes, you know how we get down. And I said, okay, well, I disagree.
This totally happened. This totally happened.
Your sale shouldn't go through.
So I'm gonna hold on.
I'm sorry.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Cadello Smith. Okay, so you went in a different direction that I thought you were going into. I thought we were just gonna focus. No.
We are.
You kind of went off on a different direction than what your actual motion was.
Yeah.
So what I just want to say is settlement negotiations.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
In this case, they're probably better not. Yeah, they're not to be placed on the record today. Okay.
I apologize.
No.
Okay, so, but that was the interesting part. She ends up coming back and saying, all right, let's focus on the TRO. Did you properly serve him? Did he respond? He didn't respond. You properly served him, and actually grants the TRO and joining Mr. Combs from liquidating any of his assets. So, but I thought that was interesting because his allegation is that Sean himself showed up a few weeks prior to that.
Well, no, that's where I'm like, I would love to be like, well, wait, so we have record of him actually being at the prison. He'll be like, look, Diddy is so good. He showed up and like nobody knew he was there. It was like out of a movie. Trust me, Judge. I know it sounds like a movie. It sounds like that movie you probably watched on Netflix last night. Me too. But I'm telling you, it totally happened.
So the this case was eventually defaulted because there was no response when the defendant filed, and then it was and then Sean's attorneys filed appearances, motions to set aside the default. All of that was granted. Setting aside the TRO was granted, and then it was removed to federal court. And it was removed to federal court in October of 2024. The filing, the removal, which is where I got the complaint from, is 570 pages, and I haven't gone through it all. It's an enormous file, but there's going to be a lot of good stuff.
I started looking through it when you said it to me, and I'm like, I'm not reading this all.
Well, what I want to focus on, so this guy, he's improper. All right, let's just take it for what it is. He's on his own. He doesn't have an attorney. Procedurally, this case is a disaster. What he filed just on March 19th of 2025 is a motion to vacate his dismissal, because ultimately it was dismissed on the grounds of statute of limitations and some procedural things. But the statute of limitations argument is really why it was dismissed. And he filed a motion to vacate the order of dismissal with prejudice. And he filed it almost in a way as if it's a writ of habeas corpus with regard to his underlying criminal charges. And so that's what I really wanted. That's kind of the heart of this, because that's where the real allegations come in that bring in Wayne County prosecutors and all of this stuff. Sean, did you have a chance to look through this at all? I know I sent you a lot. I was just like downloading everything and throwing it into a file.
No, I don't think I got to that part. No, because I was trying to read through the 500 pages. I'm like, oh, well, I'm like, it was actually pretty. It was very interesting to read through it.
It was very interesting, and I just didn't have enough time to really go through it thoroughly. But this is only 15 pages, and I think this gives this is what I really wanted to talk about today, anyways. And I'm going to go through the rest of the 570 pages to figure out what else is in there. But so this is the plaintiff here. This is in the civil suit against P Diddy. And he moves this court to set aside the order of dismissal with prejudice and allow this matter to proceed to a jury trial, granted judgment in favor of plaintiff, where the plaintiff can prove that the defendant committed fraud upon the court and that the plaintiff, where the defendants committed fraud. He says defendants, plural. Are there more defendants?
I think he's got,
No,
he doesn't list them. He doesn't list them, which is interesting. He's only suing Diddy, not Bad Boy Records, Bad Boy Holdings, all the other things we see in the other cases.
Right. So the court has fraud committed upon it by the defendant requesting relief from judgment under Rule 60 because this judgment is void and the evidence could not have been reasonably discovered through due diligence by this plaintiff other than the time it was presented to the plaintiff as follows.
How would he have not? Because you remember Diddy, he said Diddy fucked him. Like, how does he not have due diligence for that?
Okay,
I love his argument.
So what he's going into in this segment is that his criminal convictions were all orchestrated by Diddy.
Yeah.
That's what he's going at. And they were orchestrated by Diddy as, I guess, like a consciousness of guilt with regard to that 1997 party incident.
And shut him up.
Yeah, to shut him up. Remember, his first conviction was a year later in 1998.
Yeah.
So the Detroit police officer, Nicole Raber. By the way, I looked her up, and the only thing I found on her was a blog post that alleges that she's a Detroit police officer and she was charged and convicted of domestic assault. And then it's supposed to link like credible news sources. None of the links work. Like they take you to the Detroit Free Press, the link doesn't work. They take you to the Macomb County Daily, the link doesn't work. So I have very little faith in anything involving her that I was able to find online.
Speaking of cops and 41%, Chad, whatever you do, don't Google that. Cops and 41% and domestic violence.
So Nicole Raber has authorized and notarized an affidavit stating that she worked for Sean Combs and knew about the defendant's rape of the plaintiff and the forcing of the plaintiff to be placed in prison to cover up the criminal activity. See affidavit. We're going to go through these affidavits. Andrea, and I'm horrible with names. Bomarito.
I don't know.
Admits to working for Sean Combs to frame and lie about kidnapping and rape charges against this plaintiff as proven in the affidavits he attached. The affidavit of Suzette Samuels, assistant Wayne County prosecutor, has admitted to working undercover or working to cover up the rape of this plaintiff by defendant Sean Combs and frame this plaintiff. See affidavit of Suzette Samuels. Plaintiff has since been provided with new proof of fraudulent concealment conducted by the defendant through the Detroit Police Department, Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and most assuredly the affiance of the assistant Wayne County Prosecutor Suzette Samuels. So he's basing it off of the prosecutor that actually prosecuted him in the case. Most assuredly, he says here. And then he just keeps going on and on about these affidavits. So let's get to the meat of these affidavits. This is all we got to take it for what it is. It purports to be an affidavit. Now, if you don't know, I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to go down to this affidavit of Suzette Samuels. Now, according to the State Bar of Michigan, Suzette Samuels is still working for the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. She's, someone had mentioned, I think Rosalind Duke had messaged me on Twitter asking if do I know anything about her because she's not listed on the prosecutor's website. According to the State Bar of Michigan, anyone can look this up. She is still working at the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. So she is still there. It's hard to imagine that someone would write this affidavit and still be employed for Wayne County, for the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. But
keep in mind, it's Wayne County, though. So
that's true. That's true. Also, so I'm gonna scroll down. These are just the verification things. This is all like allegations, right? None of this is. Yes. I'm not saying any of this is true. All right. So here's the notary block for Sean Fleming, who is the supposed notary that signed.
Tell me you can look up notaries.
I can.
That's awesome. Okay.
We can look up notaries. Now, here's the thing. The expiration date of the notary, this is an actual notary out of Oakland County. The expiration date, however, is October 27, 2029. This one says June 8th, 2029. There's no reason for that. And if you go back through the details.
Are you claiming this gentleman who's incarcerated may be lying?
If you go back through the details, the dates of appointments and commissions and expirations, rather, none of this lines up with, something on June 8th. Because typically, if you guys don't know it, the notary expires on the notary's birthday in Michigan.
Oh.
So presumably October 27, 2029 is his birthday. Now, that's what I understand it to be. I might be wrong, but look, it's still the same expiration date. Even though it was issued in November, it expires in October. Issued in March, expires in October. It expires on the birthday. So unless we're saying like this is a different Sean Fleming out of Oakland County, Michigan with a birth date of June 8th, I don't suspect that this is authentic, but that's my 2 cents. That's my assumptions here. So take all of that with the grain of salt that it is, that this person is still employed at the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and the notary has an expiration date that doesn't line up with the public documents.
Yes.
So, but, and then I didn't look up the notary for the police officer's affidavit yet, but I could actually. Let me go back here and look this up real quick. Okay, so this is supposed to be in Wayne County. So here, we'll do this. All right, so you go to Wayne County, and we have I gotta move it over here so I could see. Marcus, Marcus, last name Ash. Is that Tord?
I think it's Ashford. Yeah.
Tord?
No, I think it's Ford, like Ashford.
Oh, is it Ford? Okay, let's search here. Nothing comes up. So this doesn't come up at all.
Well, can you just do Marcus and then last name starting with A? Does it let you do that?
Maybe.
You just type in
also,
A.
I'll notice that the expiration date is the exact same date.
Yes. Well,
June 8th.
Well, saying. I mean, when you look at the top of the text is also different. The Marcus is in a different.
It is, but that doesn't mean anything. So just so you know, when you become a notary, I'm a notary. You just order the stamp, from wherever, like stamps.com or something. There's nothing official that comes from the state itself. You just order it with this information.
Yeah, now my notary stamp is too. I ordered it. The lady at the Bar Association was like, well, here you go. Here's the catalog. And I picked out my style. And I've got the one where you take it and you push down on it and it inks it. It's all kind of neat.
That's what I got. Chunk. It's nice. Yeah. But there is no Marcus with the last name starting with A anywhere in the registry. There is one here. Marcus Crawford Wayne, June 4th, 2018, it expired. But it hasn't been renewed. June 28th, 2029. That doesn't line up. Like, there's nothing lining up here, folks.
Oh no, I'm sure he recycled a document he got a hold of in his stash of stuff.
Oh, I felt so excited about this. And now I'm afraid that the affidavits might not hold up. So but this Detroit police officer, I don't know if she's a Detroit police officer, Nicole, an officer, doesn't say what department, who authorized the police report in the city of, the police report in the city of Detroit. I don't know why you would start off that way. You would say, employed as a city of Detroit police officer or something like. You would name the department, I feel. Instead of authored a police report in the city of Detroit on January.
I was employed by the, also that thing here with the affidavit, this part, at least here in Ohio, it would be 1, my name is Nicole Raber. 2, I'm of 18 years of age. I have knowledge of these events. 3, I was a Detroit police officer. I was commissioned on this date. I was employed on such and such date as a Detroit police officer or Novi or wherever the hell they're at.
Yep.
And then she would go on to say blah, 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 blah. So this whole beginning part doesn't, at least to me, that would be a bogus affidavit here in Ohio.
Yeah, it would. And Aaron Hack, I don't think Diddy did this one. Well, not all of it. I suppose there was a party at Holiday Inn in 1997.
I could see this happening, but I don't trust this guy to say that it happened to him.
And then K Elf says that he has so many I did look him up on Pacer and in the Wayne County filing system, and he has there's 20 lawsuits out there against all kinds of individuals from 2020 all the way through 2025. He is suing everybody, and I don't know what his sentence is. I don't know how long he's in for, but he's got time on his hands, and he is just firing off lawsuits and getting his name in the paper. You got to do something. So now that
he's got nothing but time there while he's in prison.
Thoroughly,
because how long is he in prison for now?
I don't know. I was going to look it up, and then
I was going to say given the amount of it seems like he spent basically most of the 2000s in prison.
And that's the other thing is how much money does he have to actually invest? Again, we didn't get into it in this discussion, but he talks about investing in a lot of ventures with P Diddy and all of that. Let's see here. Start offender search. I agree to the terms and conditions. I don't know what they are, but let's okay, last name. Oh, I got to spell his last name.
Are you using OBS or StreamYard? Are you using StreamYard or OBS?
StreamYard.
Oh, how did you get the drag on the screen like that? I didn't know you could do that.
What I do is I have 3 monitors and I share my third one. Monitor,
okay.
And I just do this. Yeah, I found that that's a lot easier. Okay, now I got to. Let me pull this up.
3 monitors. I only have 2.
I know I'm fancy like that. All right, let me. Let's find this guy here. Last name hyphenated. Why? Let's speculate wildly on why his last name is hyphenated. Do you think he married a strong woman?
No, I think it's probably from when he was born.
Yeah. 0 records match.
You just try to do Cardello or Smith?
Yeah, let me try. He's in Michigan Department of Corrections, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Earliest release date 2036.
Oh, well,
yeah. So, oh no, he's got life sentence here. Nope, that's not him. Yeah, there he is. So earliest release date, maximum discharge date is 2086. His earliest release date is 2036. So he's at least got another 11 years, and then we'll see where it goes from there, I guess. So he's got some time on his hands.
I'll have free time.
Yeah, right. Okay, so my name is Nicole. I'm an officer who authored the police report in the city of Detroit on January 13th, 2008 against Derek Lee Corlido Smith, current prisoner in Michigan Department of Corrections, obtained through a conviction that was a result of my investigator's report, and I state the following information and facts herein to be true, accurate, and real. And I have been deposed to swear and say, which I don't know. It looks bad. It's not wholly horrible off of its face like that. The fact that there's no department listed and I am 18 and things like that makes it suspect, but doesn't kill it. What kills it is the fact that the notary dates are all wrong, and this supposed notary doesn't exist in Michigan. The police report I submitted against Derek for kidnapping and sexual assault of Tina was false. The police report I submitted against Derek for kidnapping and sexual assault against Andrea is false. I was ordered to make these false police reports against Mr. Smith by the persons of John Combs, P Diddy, by the persons of, Kim Worthy, Wayne County prosecutor, Suzette Samuels, assistant Wayne County prosecutor, Jose Orbitz. I don't
To be fair, Kim Worthy is crooked though, so.
And the Detroit police officer. I'm not going to say anything about Kim Worthy. I had this conversation with my wife earlier.
I know.
The 99% of people that come into contact with the Wayne County prosecutor's office, I feel like are dealt with more fairly in Wayne County than other counties around here.
Okay.
Now, we could talk about some of the other stuff, but the vast majority, but whenever I'm involved with them, I feel like I get a fair shake, and they're not afraid to dismiss cases when they know they don't have the evidence. That's the critical thing.
So like I said, I'm never going to be there, so I can say whatever I want.
Sean does not speak for me.
No, David speaks for himself.
Let's see here. So I was paid a total of $132,000 cash by Sean Puffy Combs to issue the false police report for kidnapping and sexual assault against the persons of, why name it the person of Derek? It's almost like a sovereign sort of thing, right? Have you ever seen this in an affidavit? The person of Derek Lee Corleo?
Yeah. Well, like, I don't know if that's sovereign. I think that's more of just he's spent a lot of time in the law library.
Okay.
I don't know that I've never seen that like that though.
My family's lives and my life have been threatened by this man. Who? This is an affidavit. Who is this man? And the only way to save them was to go through with the police report I filed in this case. And even though, run-on sentence, and even though I know this was a betrayal of my badge and my oath as a police officer, I follow through with these actions as that I had no other choice. Okay, there's so many things wrong with that grammatically and everything else.
Yes, there's so many. Yes.
There was there was a misspelling somewhere.
Well, yeah, my family's lives, yeah, all of it. You know, it's here, my commanding officer on the Northeast Division.
Yeah,
she's typing in Boston accent.
Yeah, on the Northeastern District 5. By the way, I know I'm good friends with Detroit Police Commissioner out of District 5. He's been on my streams a few times.
I did like this though. I've done it many times and I'll continue to do it.
Yes. This is so great. So Derek Smith never kidnapped anyone, nor did he ever sexually assault anyone, and he was a victim that evening. Interesting that this is not coming from the supposed victims either. This is coming from Detroit police. The arrest warrant was paid for by me and others directly to the magistrate judge of the 36th District Court. That's the district court in downtown Detroit. And he was paid a total of $5,000 for signing the warrant. And he has been in many cases. Oh, and so he's been paid to sign warrants in many cases. And as he works for Sean Combs, I was connected to him. Yeah, I was connected to him and forced to pay him and paid him the money for those warrants that I knew were false. And he knew were false, especially in Derek's case. All charges were false.
Well, I love how Diddy's like, I'm bribing you, but you need to use your bribes to bribe other people.
Well, that's how it works, Sean, isn't it? How it works? Like, he's not going to get his hands dirty. I was present when Patricia Penniman, detective with Wayne County and Dearborn Police Department. I don't know why Dearborn's being brought into this. Paid Mr. Vincent Smothers contact.
He was a
contract killer. Oh, okay. Money to kill Mr. Derek Lee Smith, and then Mr. Vincent Smothers took the money to kill David Cobb's wife, Rose Cobb's, the day after Christmas 2007. I don't know who.
None of that makes any sense because they're like, why is she vouching for another crime in the middle of talking about all her other crimes?
Right. So wait. I think what it's trying to say is that because obviously our plaintiff here is not unalived. So so this guy took the money and then that was supposed to be used to take out our plaintiff and instead used it to kill David Cobbs and his wife.
Yeah, which that's not how that works. If he goes off, it's just like any contractor. If he pays you to build your deck and he builds your neighbor's deck, you don't get to be like, oh, job done. No, he went out and just committed murder.
I'm going to go out on a limb, Lolita, and say this is entirely fake.
Yes, this is entirely fake. I'm sure he used real names, but that's about it.
Yeah. He couldn't get the real name of a notary, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I lied under oath to the magistrate of the 35th District Court while present with Sergeant Ortez to obtain the arrest warrant for Derek and in violation, and I violated his due process rights that he is afforded by the Constitution of the state of Michigan. It's interesting that they just go with the state of Michigan and not the U.S. Constitution as well, although he has constitutional rights, due process rights under both. I also lied under oath in the Wayne County Circuit Court in the criminal case of People v. Derek Lee Smith, case number do. I would love to see, I think there's actually a transcript of his preliminary hearing. I don't know if it went to trial. I'm going to try to find it, though. I want to see what exactly this person supposed to, testify to that she is now recanting. I make this affidavit freely, voluntarily, and with full knowledge that I will have to testify to these facts, and I will testify to them in state or federal court, civil or criminal, because my actions while working as, again, an undeclared police department have resulted in an innocent man being held illegally, and that man is Derek Lee Cordial Smith. Now, this might be right for a habeas argument, but I don't know where it has any basis in this civil case. Because the civil case is all about the SA in 1997, right? And it's already been ruled that statute of limitations had long passed, and even if the court wanted to,
I'm just trying to think like how could he use this to his benefit, and I don't see it.
Yeah, not in this 1997 SA case, civil case. I just don't see it. So then we have an affidavit of Suzette Samuels, who is, according to the State Bar of Michigan, still on the.
Here's the other thing you could tell why this is bullshit. This isn't typed down on a word processor. This is on a freaking like Scaletric. It looks like.
Yeah.
This looks like This looks like an electric. It's called isn't that what they're called? Scaletric it's an electric typewriter.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of them.
Yeah,
like a word processor of some sort.
Guys, because if this is from a prosecutor's office, even if she wasn't doing it on the company thing, you go to it would look typed out like a printer, like it would be printed out like from a computer printer. This is a typewriter, and guess where they have typewriters so they can control people? In prison.
I love how K found the other typo, an innocent me.
Yes.
Being held illegally. Yeah. See, I just read over that. There's so many typos.
Well, or he could be saying like maybe an innocent me versus a guilty me. Maybe it's like fourth person or something. I don't know.
Yeah, this is definitely a fourth person statement. This is all kinds of nonsense. Now this is just a dumb cop writing this out, right? It could be this bad.
Yes, cops are stupid.
A learned attorney that's been practicing since before the alleged SA incident, I think 1994. So this is a learned, well-experienced attorney. Let's see if this affiant can do any better. My name is Suzette Samuels, bar number, because that's important to put in here. That's not how that's, by the way, an attorney in the state of Michigan would not put it this way. There's a very certain way to do it. That's just, there's no like official way to do it. But literally just after your names, it's bracket and then P with your number and then close bracket. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
To say bar number Nobody needs to say a bar number because we know what the P and the digits afterward means.
Well, because here in Ohio, you don't actually have a P; you just have numbers. So, like, you might say I'm an attorney in the state of Ohio, and then you put your number after that. But if you just put your number right after it, it might not be clear. Like, unless you're in a filing, like at the bottom.
So, but this is not the way that a Michigan-based attorney would do it. I am a lawyer and assistant prosecuting attorney in Wayne County Prosecutor's Office in Detroit, Michigan, County of Wayne, State of Michigan. I prosecuted. So it doesn't say anything else, qualifying statements, which normally you would expect, especially from a learned attorney. I prosecuted Mr. Derek Lee. I'm just going to call him Smith because I can't ever pronounce that name.
Mm-hmm.
In the criminal case of People v. State of Michigan v. Derek Lee Smith, case number, during the criminal proceedings of January 1st, 2008 through October 31st, 2008. I wonder if he pled. I'm just curious if he pled to this or not. I'll have to look it up. I worked directly for the immediate persons of Kim L. Worthy, Wayne County prosecutor, and for Mr. Sean John Combs, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, and Brothers Love, owner and founder of Bad Boy Records. So she's saying that she was directly employed by Bad Boy Records, Combs, and also while working as a prosecutor for Wayne County. The office of the Wayne County prosecutor has framed Mr. Derek Lee Smith for the crimes of criminal sexual conduct beginning in 1997, in 2008, and again in 2019 while he was incarcerated. So he picked up a 2019 charge while he was incarcerated. I got to look up this guy's record. The person who directed these prosecutions were and still are Mr. Sean John Combs, musician, music mogul, artist, owner, and founder of Bad Boy Records, and Kim Lee Worthy, current Wayne County prosecutor. Well, I believe that the person who authorized the charges were Kim L. Worthy. Definitely. I'm not so sure about the whole Sean Combs connection. See, when I first heard this story, I thought, like Danny on Direct did, Michigan has a long connection with the music industry, going back to Motown, right? There's a lot of shenanigans that happened in Motown. There's a lot of stuff going on in the music industry in and around Detroit. And sometimes politicians like the cause celeb sort of thing. And there could be some intermingling of this. There could be some hush-hush money. There could be some legitimacy to this sort of connection between Bad Boy Records in the 90s. Remember, we're talking about a time where we have, the police are not necessarily on the up and up in the Detroit Police Department. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of abuse. We have, several police officers that are, only a few years into their prison sentence after beating up a guy. And so there's a lot of stuff going on at this time. And I thought, okay, so there might be something to this connection. But after looking through these affidavits, I don't believe this stuff, mainly because of the quality of the affidavits, the statements that are being made. And I will also add this, Sean, as an attorney, I'm sure you have as well. You've drafted affidavits on behalf of someone else for them to sign, right?
Yes.
It's conceivable that this plaintiff, Mr. Smith, drafted these affidavits in preparation for someone to sign and just say, hey, read this, and if this is true and accurate, sign it and get it back to me, sort of thing. But for an attorney, a current assistant prosecuting attorney, to read this, even assuming that it's true, to sign it in the quality that it is a little...
Well, that'd be sus anyway, too.
Yeah. And why is this not being brought up in... Like, you don't sign this stuff and say, oh, yeah, by the way, my direct supervisor, the elected prosecutor who has been for the last 20 years that I still currently work for, is on P. Diddy's payroll.
Yes.
And continues to be, right? You don't... DUI guy has a Diddy. So you don't, I mean, that's my main thing. All right.
Yeah.
So Mr. Sean Combs and Kim Worthy ordered the Detroit Police Department's 9th Precinct, Northern District, to arrest and frame Mr. Smith for multiple rapes that he did not commit. Mr. Sean Combs and Kim Worthy directed me to use my powers and office as an assistant Wayne County prosecutor. So it's not her office. See, that's the other thing. It's the Wayne County prosecutor's office. It's her position or her authority, but it's not this assistant prosecutor's office. So that's another weirdly phrased statement. And again, like you said, Sean, I feel like he was deep into the law library of the prison and wrote this up.
Yes.
To frame Mr. Smith, let's see, to falsely charge and convict Mr. Smith with 6 counts of criminal sexual conduct and 2 counts of kidnapping, which I did out of fear of my life, and which I did because I was paid to do so. In this case and many others, totaling 184 black male citizens of Detroit, Saginaw, Flint, and other counties of Michigan that were investigators in bad boy records prior to 1997. But how I did this in many other cases. Okay, so this assistant Wayne County prosecutor is saying that it was done in Saginaw, that she was directly involved in Saginaw, Flint, and other counties. I'm sorry, the Wayne County prosecutor's authority stops at the border of Wayne County. It's not going to go to Saginaw County. It's not going to go to Flint County. It's not going to go to any other county. Mr. Combs ordered Kim Worthy, again, Wayne County prosecutor, not Flint or Saginaw or any others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how would she have that ability? She never said she's worked up there.
Did Ricada write the law books in prison? In the prison? Yeah, he might. Oh, that's great. Who's talking about DUI? Debbie just DUI guy has a Diddy. That was the comment. This is just, I was really hoping there was something here, like something tenuously, but this just sounds like the imaginative rantings of
I'm surprised it didn't include when I was as you're going through this. I'm surprised there wasn't and by the way, Derek Cardello Lee Smith is the best guy ever. He truly has an IQ of 725.
We might get to it. I don't know.
And he's got a 10-inch wiener. It's like
again, yesterday I heard about this on Friday. I grabbed it all and started downloading it. I started reading through it. And I downloaded some more this morning and I started reading through it. I haven't read all of this. So we're all just sort of kind of learning the credibility of this as we go. Let's see here. So Mr. Combs and my boss, Kim Worthy, it's funny that he spells it KYM because I thought it would for sure was going to be KIM. It is spelled correctly, but given the quality of this affidavit, have framed Mr. Smith to cover up the rape of Mr. Smith by Combs in 1997. And while Smith was serving as Mr. Combs' bartender through 1996 and 1997. Okay. But he says in his complaint that he was a bartender at Fishbones, which is a restaurant and bar, and it's well known and it's still there. But now you're claiming that you served as a bartender throughout 96 and 97. That's not what you said in your complaint, sir. Mm-hmm. Which you drafted, presumably. Mr. Combs.
And then he drafted this.
And then he drafted this. Mr. Combs sent 3 men to kill Mr. Smith in 1997 while he and a female companion were exiting the Detroit movie theater. Is that a period, I guess? I don't know.
Let me see. Yeah.
Mr. Smith
where do you see the...
Oh, I was just... After theaters, I feel like there should have been a period.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, capital, was stabbed in the arm, or stabbed in the capital arm, while defending himself and killed the knife-wielding assailant.
So now you're admitting to a murder.
He's not incarcerated for a murder. It's just
Yeah, I know. So it's like, oh, now we can investigate that.
Oh.
Once again, this reads like a book.
It does. Don't admit to your murders in your fictional affidavits.
Season 2, he's going to find out that, Senator Slotkin is behind all of this too, or their CIA contacts. Definitely. And then he'll find out at the end of season 3, it goes into the White House. Dun, dun, dun.
God, I lost my spot.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Oh, so Mr. Smith was placed under arrest for second-degree murder. This murder was then hidden, and it led to Mr. Smith being sent to prison for multiple counts of criminal sexual conduct. So he claims that he was charged with second degree, but they dismissed that. Or
there's no record of it.
It was hidden. There's no record of it. I couldn't find a record of it. I worked with I did some deep Googling, not Googling. I did some deep searching through the court records in Pacer, as well as the Michigan has a one court, one justice online website where you can search a bunch of cases. I didn't see any second degree murder charge. Saw a lot of other stuff, but not that. I worked with a 1997 assistant prosecutor under Mike Duggan. Now, Mike Duggan is the current mayor of Detroit, and which is interesting to bring this up. And then Judge Kim Worthy. So she was a judge for a time. But Mike Duggan has actually been a really good mayor for the city. And but it's interesting that they bring that up. Yeah, they say the current Detroit mayor and other officials to cover up the crimes. And I played a key role in the Detroit police. I played a key role with Detroit police officer, Mr. John Combs Diddy. It's interesting that every time they mention somebody's name, it's always a little different. Like up here, it was, they go through all this AKA stuff, but every time they mention Combs, they phrase it a little differently. Here it's just John Combs. And then here, now it's in brackets, it's Diddy. So are they going to start referring to him as Diddy going forward? Who was personally involved, and other members of the Wayne County and the current high-ranking Wayne County government officials to hide the homicide and to unlawfully place Mr. Smith in custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for crimes of sexual misconduct, rape, and kidnapping, all of which he is innocent of. If they wanted to put him away for life, why wouldn't they keep pressing the homicide charge and then up it to first degree? Because you get him convicted on that, he's never getting out. On a kidnapping and a sexual assault, looks like he's due out in 11 years. Mr. Sean Combs was always personally involved and directed these meetings in order to cover up the rape he committed. This seems like a lot of work to cover up sort of what is questionably a consensual naked fest at a hotel in 1997, right?
Yes. That's the thing here. I don't.
He's doing all this while at the same time apparently hosting giant orgies with celebrities.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to cover up something that is arguably might not be a crime, depending on who you believe in that circumstance. So it just seems like a lot of work to go through. Mr. Sean Combs and Kim Elworthy both paid cash directly to Mr. Vincent Smother, the contract killer, Patricia Penniman, detective in Detroit and Dearborn, Michigan, Mr. Cobb, Detroit Police Department Sergeant, deceased, Carla Carpenter, Tina. These are the victims. I'm not even going to say alleged victims because he's been convicted of Tina and Andrea, and others to kidnap and attempt to kill Mr. Derek Lee Smith in 2008, only to fail, and then decided to use the same people to frame Mr. Smith for rapes that he did not do. Carpenter's sister, Tina and Andrea, are sexual assault and sexual slavery victims of Mr. Sean Combs. Wait a minute. Tina, wasn't that the one in the complaint? Hang on. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me see here.
Well, now we can at least search it. Well, maybe we can't search it.
Hang on. I just wanted to go to the complaint because he mentioned a girl's name.
Oh, he did?
I think he did. Let me see. Two of the girls, two of the women wanted to go into the main room. Oh no, they mentioned Terrell.
Yeah. Maybe that's maybe Tina's Terrell after he transitions.
Right. I thought for sure he. Oh, maybe not. Actually, I did search this, so let's see. TINA. Affidavit of Vincent Smothers. So there's a ton of other stuff. This is an affidavit of Vincent Smothers involving Tina. No, so he didn't list Tina in the complaint. Okay, I was wrong about that. I thought maybe he listed Tina. But yeah, it was Terrell before the transition. Hey, Maddie B. Sorry, guys. I've been ignoring chat a little bit. Okay. Is this where I was? Yeah. So paid $5,000 to district judge to secure an arrest warrant. Paid $5,000 to Judge Willie Lipcomb, 36th District Court. Falsely detained. There was enough evidence to make Smith stand trial. Paid $10,000 to Judge Daniel Ryan. I know Daniel Ryan. I know Daniel Ryan on a personal level as well as a professional level.
Mm-hmm.
He is the most upstanding person that I've ever met.
Are you going to confront him the next time you go to court and say, why did you put this man in prison?
So he's retired now, actually, and he does a lot of mediation.
Now you can really confront him because he's not.
I'm going to text. I'm going to send him a text to be like, hey, do you know you should listen to this affidavit?
You need to fess up.
Judge Thomas Cameron. And then there was another judge. Oh, I know Bridget Hathaway too. And on a personal as well as a professional level. Bridget Hathaway is, by the way, retired and doing mediations now. The other judges I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna have to call Dan. Be like, hey, sir, did you know that your name is mentioned? Let's see. I performed the transactions of these monetary handovers on the orders of Kim Worthy and Sean Combs, and I complied fully with these orders of the two persons named because they have their hands deep into the election and appointed workers in the county of Wayne, city of Detroit, and others in Michigan, and other areas of Michigan. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, Mr. Cobb. Who was Cobb again? I'm getting lost in all these names.
I don't know. Mr. Cobb, corn on the cob. I don't know.
Mr. Cobb committed suicide.
Mr. Cobb was the woman, his wife got murdered by the hitman, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, where they said, go murder Derek, and he's like, I'm gonna murder some other guy.
Oh, he got unalived when he was due to be called as a witness in Mr. Smith's trial. But it was not suicide. It was murder. Ordered by Sean Combs and Kim Worthy. He passed 2 days before Smith's trial was to begin, resulting in Smith entering into a no contest plea. I knew he pled. I had just had a suspicion that he pled because all of his appeals went nowhere. They were like immediately dismissed. And I was like, this has to be a plea. Every document in this case Smith filed against Sean Combs is real, accurate, and true. So this affiant, this current assistant Wayne County prosecutor, claims to have reviewed the 570 documents in this other file and says that they are all accurate and true. Even the affidavits signed by other people. As that I have the same copies of these documents, and I have had these documents for many years, and Kim Worthy has them too. This was definitely drafted by a highly educated attorney with 20 years of experience. Yeah. Mr. Combs used Kim Worthy. He used Detroit police officers Patrick Jackson and other Detroit police officers to work with 2 LA police officers to execute Mr. Tupac Shakur. That's where it is.
Yes, although we know Keefe D is involved in that instead.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but this is true. This is what does it say? This is accurate and true. It says right
yes,
here.
it's true. It's true and honest. True and honest.
The random capitalizations. Now, I will say when I handwrite something, when I'm doing notes, I do random capitalization, but not so much in my typed documents. But yeah, the random capitalization is awesome. Like real, like it's for real, accurate and true. Exactly. Nosy Rosie is just lurking and laughing along with us. Well, thank you for lurking. Yeah, that's great. So this is where the hit came from, everybody. This is breaking news. This is where the hit to take out Tupac came from.
We know where it came from.
We all knew it was Sean. Sean Puffy Combs, that is. Not potentially criminal.
I mean, I did like Biggie.
Yeah. The Office of the Wayne County Prosecutor has destroyed all homicide files beginning in 1995 through 2003. And this was done to hide the homicide Derek Lee Smith originally committed. So, in self-defense. So they destroyed all files, all homicide files from 1995 to 2003 to hide this one guy. This is, what is it called when you have that syndrome where you believe you're the center of the world and you can't recognize the fact that other people around you have full and complete lives, and not everyone is looking. It's like 16-year-old going to prom mentality where you feel like everyone's going to be staring at me and looking at me on the dance floor. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this guy. This was not all done. If the records were destroyed, I doubt they were. They were not done because of you, sir. Isn't that like a mental condition?
What is? Sorry, I stepped away.
Narcissism?
Yes.
No, so I say like
this is an attached, like this is a reality disorder, like
where you can't understand that the people around you are not focused entirely on you. You are not the center of the world.
Yes.
Not everyone is looking at you at all times.
Yes.
There's like
also main character syndrome, but
main character syndrome, that's what it is.
This guy has like an associative disorder though too. Like, I mean, he could also just be a straight up, con, and that's all he's doing, but I think there's a lot going on here.
Well, to suggest that the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office has destroyed homicide files from 1995 to 2003 just because of you is insane. Well, he's insane. Yeah, he is insane. But if he truly believes this stuff, right? If he truly believes this stuff, he's insane. It could be, like Sean said, he's just trying to play some sort of con and get his name out there, maybe get a little money, just grasping at straws.
Gotta get some commissary in the accounts.
Yeah. That's what somebody had said. There was an article on Reddit about his default of $100 million, and somebody commented, like, does that all go into his commissary? He'd be king. He'd be king in that prison.
Well, people be charging him rent.
Well, that's true. Actually, that's true. He wouldn't hang on to that money very long. I have video of Mr. Sean Combs' rape victims being coerced and forced into testifying falsely that Smith committed horrific acts of. Is that like the witness interview and like sitting on the plushy couches? Is that what's being referred to?
Yeah, I'd love to hear how that's all set up.
Yeah. I have documents that support all of Mr. Smith's claims that he was treated by Sean Combs, that he was threatened, rather, by Sean Combs, that if he went through with the sexual assault charges on Mr. Combs, that Smith's family and friends' lives would be threatened. Now, according to the complaint, there was a police report made, according to the complaint that was filed by, our very credible Mr. Smith here. He does claim that a police report was made days after this 1997 assault, if I'm not mistaken. And supposedly there is a rape kit that was done and produced with this filing. And supposedly, if you believe it, I haven't read it yet, right? So let's take it with the grain of salt we're offering to these affidavits. Supposedly, the assault actually happened. There was a police report. There was a rape kit done back in 1997. Wait, where is it? He says that there was, I contacted the police about it.
And there's enough plausible issues of a rape kit from 1997 never being tested. Like, that's actually an endemic issue, especially in the criminal justice system.
Especially in Michigan, and the Detroit Crime Lab has now been taken over by the Michigan State Police Crime Lab about 5-6 years ago, because they had such a backlog of untested rape kits. It was a whole thing in the news, and it made headlines, I think, like nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very credible to believe that there is an untested rape kit that went untested until 2023 or 2024.
But that's how this works. A lie's got enough plausibility in it. You can.
Mm-hmm. So
the problem is he's so batshit and saying the rest of it. You can't credit it at all.
Yeah, that's the problem. The whole prison would overflow with ramen noodles. Exactly.
Hyperinflation.
It would wreck the economy within the prison system. You can't do it. As a matter of public policy, we can't allow this guy to get $100 million of Sean's money. So I'm not going to read through it all. I want to point out again that this notary block does not seem to comport with the records with the Secretary of State's office, particularly the expiration date. This notary does exist. But whether or not this was actually signed and notarized by this individual.
Well, this is where you gotta, the little details are what gets you, chat.
Okay, so let's do this. Hang on. I'm gonna do snip. I wanna do a side by side here. Okay, so we're gonna pull this off. Oh wait, I did that wrong. Hang on. No. All right. Let me pull this down real quick. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison of the notary blocks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's do a snippet tool. Let's grab this. Okay, we've got that. Now let me scroll up to the first notary, which has the same date but a different name, or same expiration date, right? That's what we noticed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's take a look at this side by side. We're going to be detectives here. So look at the County of Oakland has been revised. It's a lot bigger for County of Wayne, almost like you printed off County of Wayne and maybe pasted it.
Yeah, and then he copied it again, this is the, chat, that is the old way copy and paste came about. You would do this and you'd run through a photocopier. So
for these expiration dates to be identical, again, like I said before, they have to have the same birth date, which isn't terribly uncommon. There's actually a mathematical formula that if you put a certain number of people in the room, how many do you have to have where there's like a 51% likelihood that you have a birth date with at least one other person in the room, and it's only like 27 people.
Really?
Yeah. And so it's not astronomical that you have the same birthday.
But also a notary. So now you're even to a smaller thing.
But that's the thing, right? We have to have a notary that has the same. And the notaries have to be in different counties, right? So the odds go higher and higher.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, it's just the astronomical nature of this is like a rocket ship after a moment.
And then look at the my commission expires June 8th, 2029. Looks to be the exact same text.
So and the other thing there too is that they all have the same expiration date, because they could all, there could be more than one with the June 8th birthday, but how many of them would expire on June 8th of 2029? So, you're really straining control, because like if they're both on June 8th, you could have one with like a June 8th, 2027 birthday, like expiration. This is why you guys gotta, it's all about the details.
And the things,
I'm not encouraging you to go commit crimes, but I'm just saying, be good about it.
Acting in the county of Wayne is obviously larger. And,
yes.
Could have been placed right over the Wayne, or the acting in the county of Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
What did somebody say about the N? Where is that? Oh, Kay says, look at the N in Michigan.
The N looks like a pi symbol.
There's another N. Oh, there's a second N.
Yeah, well, there's two N's, but also when you look at the county of, and the spacing for Wayne is off.
Yeah.
The county of Oakland on the Sean Fleming one is obviously, I'm assuming they have a standard font set up, don't they, normally for these?
When you order them, yeah, you just put them in.
But I mean, when you look at most of these notaries, like when you see them, they all probably look like Sean Fleming's, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I mean. Marcus's should look like Sean's, unless Marcus is like an old school one. Like, I mean, the formatting should be similar too.
But you notice the name of Sean D. Fleming's is a different font than the notary.
Well, yeah, it's different. It looks like it's actually meant to be there. Marcus looks like it's shoved in. Yeah, the spacing's all over. Yeah, there's a lot of problems here.
The thought is he faked the whole affidavit. Yes, that is our.
Yeah, none of this is true. This is all.
Yeah, none of this is true. This is all. He typed this up. He obviously typed this up, and I'm going to say that for a number of reasons, because it is written clearly on prison typewriter. It's the same format as the complaint. Like if you look at the complaint and you look at these affidavits, not so much this one, but definitely this one, right? You could tell that this is written on one of those automatic
typewriters.
Word processor sort of things that you have in prison. This is his complaint that he filed, and then this is the affidavit. So it's definitely the same style. This is not something that a licensed attorney would have drafted, nor would it have been in this format. And those are my 2 cents. But most interesting is the notary.
An attorney may have done this in, like an attorney in 1990 would have been doing this.
Yeah.
But not.
This, and for those of you that are coming in late, we looked up the notaries. And this notary here, Sean, he is a notary out of Oakland County, but that is not the correct expiration date.
Yeah.
And this person, oh no, not this person. This person here is not listed anywhere in the Secretary of State's notary information, which leads me to believe that this person doesn't have a valid notary.
Yeah. And David, I wanted to show so people understand what we're talking about. This is the type of thing you get in prison because they can control you don't need a word processor to do it. This is what I mean by an electric typewriter.
Yep. Yes, you could just type
because
it right
now I don't
up.
have to worry about you cruising the internet.
Yep, you can still type out and file your stuff. And which is consistent with a lot of these documents that that I was able to pull down from the federal case filing, is that they're all mailed in. Even though federal courts have an e-filing system, a lot of the things that were filed by this defendant were mailed in. Let me just pull this up real quick. I can show you all. Oh, where's P Diddy? Here's P Diddy. Let me pull up a random thing. See if this is it. Yeah. Okay. So if you look here, I don't know what exactly this document is. This is affidavit of Wilson. Affidavit of Wilson. This is a handwritten affidavit by a Detroit police officer claiming a lot of the same things that we went through. The cooperation with Sean Combs and Kim Worthy, and Bad Boy Records, to basically lie and convict Mr. Smith. But look here, this is what I wanted to show you, that all of this stuff is being sent in the mail because he can't he can't electronically file. See, and here's the same format. This is what he drafted. This is what's supposedly signed. This is another notary. I don't know. We haven't looked up, but
and the other thing is too with that affidavit is just written like a letter. Unlike the affidavit from the cop, where at least there was some numbering on it, and then the prosecutor's one had some numbering in it. These affidavits aren't being properly done.
Yeah, and this is also dated. I need to enable my scrolling. This one is interesting, and the reason why I didn't really highlight it today because I want to go through it a little bit more. This one's dated 1998. This letter is, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
The affidavit is dated October of 2024, but the letter that accompanies it is dated 1998.
Yeah,
so that's kind of interesting. And
well, yeah, she just held on to this letter in her pocket for 20 years.
As one does, right? You know, when you're trying to cover for bad boy records.
When you commit a crime, you document it, and then you hold on to it for later to, implicate.
For tax purposes, you want your reimbursement. You want to be like, look at what I did for you. Now pay me my $5,000.
Yes.
So to dispel, again, this came to my attention because of Lolita Smiles on X, and there's another YouTuber that covered it. And I did put a link to her channel and her stream about it in the channel description. But I wanted to download it, all these documents, to see if there's any credibility to this. Because the idea of this sort of arrangement happening is somewhat plausible. At least, hey, you look the other way, here's some cash from the music industry, is plausible. And I wanted to see what these documents actually said. Sean, the few documents that we went through, if you had to give this sort of like a bullshit meter, where are you at right now?
It's like in Chernobyl when they run and they use the. Have you seen that, David?
No.
Okay, so in the show Chernobyl.
In the show. Yeah.
So you know how they strap like the actual reader on the front of the truck, and the guy comes back, he's like, "It's not 3, it's 15,000." Like, yes, it's like 15,000 on the meter. Yes, this is completely. This is garbage. And I mean, some of it's good, but the problem is you've got to be able to maintain. You got to do it right, chat. You can't half-ass it.
Yeah, you got to
half-ass it.
Oh, so I thought. By the way, so the federal case was dismissed outright. Let me see if I could pull it up. There's a motion. I love this motion. So there's a motion to dismiss.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to go through it all, but I love if you guys don't know, when you're in federal court, or really I do it in state court too, you offer sort of these issues presented, statements of issues presented. And so Diddy's attorneys filed this motion to dismiss, and they present 3 issues. Whether plaintiff's claims against the defendant should be dismissed because even if the summons and complaint had been properly served, which is what they argue, the statute of limitations has run. Whether plaintiff's claims against the defendant should be dismissed for lack of proper service. So they're trying to say that he wasn't properly served and that statute of limitations had run. This last one, though, whether plaintiff's complaint against the defendant should be dismissed for the additional reasons that the allegations are implausible on its face. So they literally argue like it's not even possible for these allegations to be true. I might do another stream where I go through this motion to dismiss. It's highly entertaining. Sean, if you want to join me for this, you have all these documents, so you can read through them and decide if there's anything worthwhile. I haven't read it yet. I just read the issues presented, and it was ultimately dismissed. And then, so the motions and affidavits we just read, where the defendant or the plaintiff, Mr. Smith, motioned to set aside this dismissal. And to me, it all rings of a habeas petition on his criminal case, but it's brought in the civil case. So procedurally, it's all sort of messed up. I don't know what else to say. It's just all sort of messed up. But that's all I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to exonerate Miss Kim Worthy, the excellent Wayne County prosecutor. I'm gonna post a video. It might be in the next couple of days where Kim Worthy declined to prosecute the parents in a case involving a car accident that unalived their friends or their son's friends. And so I want to talk about that and one of the reasons why I do like Kim Worthy as a prosecutor are things like that, where she says, you know what? No, we're not going to go down this political route and bring political charges when there's really not enough evidence to substantiate this. So, but anyways, that's what we have for Diddy today. Sean, you look fixed.
I was trying to read through a little bit of that real quick.
Oh, the motion to dismiss?
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm pulling it up.
Oh, so, no, you're fine.
No.
We can go through it if you want.
No, I didn't have a chance to read it, but no, this is, I mean, I'll give them credit. It's a very funny story. It's a very funny story. And like I said, this sounds like Netflix, like somebody in Netflix would be like, can I buy the rights to this? Like that could be something for him. But the idea this at all happened is laughable.
I love the fact that Diddy's attorneys show up and say, like, it's implausible for any of this to be true.
Yes.
And then they go through. All right. So first argument, let me find.
They're like, if Diddy was going to use a hitman, he uses hitman outside of the United States. That'd have been the best
plaintiff
part.
should be dismissed because plaintiff's allegations are inconsistent and factually implausible. That is that's how they start this off.
I was going to say, I would say objection. That's a legal conclusion.
Let's see here. Thus, although the pleading stage, a court views all facts in light most favorable to the plaintiff. The court is not bound to accept as true allegations that are implausible on their face or the allegations that are inconsistent with the plaintiff's other allegations. That's part of what I was saying. It was like, well, at one point you're saying like you were a bartender at Fishbones and you're invited to a party in 1997, but then on the other hand, you're saying like you were working as Diddy's bartender from 1996 to 1997. So which is it?
Yeah, only the smile is saying, can this guy get charged for submitting fake docs? Yeah, it's forgery. Or uttering. It depending on your state. Yes, he could easily get charged with that.
There was a motion.
Are they going to do it? Probably not.
Again, this is why I want to dive a little bit deeper, and I might go into it, because there was a motion to, as part of this motion was to prevent this guy from filing any other federal cases without the court scrutinizing them.
Oh, yeah, he can get a vexatious litigant designation very quickly.
Yeah, because he does have like 20 cases he's filed against a variety of people. And so I don't know where the court came out on that. I'm going to have to keep doing some digging on that. But he's just, it's crazy. It's fun. It's fun to read, but this is fiction land. This is make-believe. And you know, he made the big headlines when he got a default $100,000 judgment against Diddy. Unfortunately, there was nothing to substantiate his allegations, and they ended up getting dismissed. The order was dismissal because of statute of limitations. Not even the pleadings being internally contradictory and implausible on its face. So that's not why it got dismissed. The court decided to not make a ruling on that and found the easy way out, but I would have loved an analysis on that. Did they? They didn't address it, I don't think. Let me see.
Okay. Well, I don't.
Opinion and orders on docket number 92. Let's see here. Did they talk about this? Plaintiff does not meet the burden of establishing exceptional circumstances warranting an interlocutory appeal. So they spent the majority of the case talking about statute of limitations. The plaintiff argues tolling, and that he, in Michigan, you can toll the statute of limitations if you don't have all the elements together. And one of them is knowledge of a crime. And what he's trying to claim is that he suppressed the memory for so long, and it didn't come back to him until a couple of years before he filed suit. And so therefore he's within the 3-year statute of limitations. But the court points out the fact, like, but you filed stuff where you say you made a police report immediately afterwards, and then you're talking about it with other people, and you know, you're being charged with this, and you're raising this issue back in 1998. So you obviously had these memories, right? Yeah. So the court kicks it on and says, no, the tolling starts with in 1997. The defendant also asked the court sanction plaintiff that he be permanently enjoined plaintiff from filing a federal court without prior court approval. Let's see here. the court inherent power. Let's see. The defendant provides several grounds for this request. He alleges that the plaintiff's allegations are wholly frivolous. This is the judge's opinion. Oh, sorry. This is the judge's opinion. I'm trying to zoom in here. Meritless and duplicative documents. The defendant also asserts that plaintiff is a serial filer whose cases have been repeatedly dismissed. Defendant also accuses plaintiff of litigating with the goal of harassing and extorting Mr. Combs. Let me just enable scrolling here. He asserts the plaintiff lied to the court repeatedly. Plaintiff responds by alleging that the defendant is an admitted liar who has attempted to retaliate against plaintiff. Let's see here. The Sixth Circuit has held that there is nothing unusual about imposing pre-filing restrictions in a matter with a history of repetitive and vexatious litigation. Citing a few cases here. An individual cannot be absolutely foreclosed from initialing an action in the court of the United States, though it is permissible to recognize one has abused the legal process to make a showing that a tendered lawsuit is not frivolous or vexatious before permitting it to be filed. Didn't your boy, God, what's his name? The one that always videos. He was just arrested and charged with like police intimidation, and then
which guy? Chili DeCastro?
Chili, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he get one of these?
No, he's never been labeled vexatious.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. He's kind of slowed down a little bit, but no, he is not vexatious.
The Sixth Circuit has, instructed courts to exercise restraint and discretion in response to sanctions. However, this court inherent power of sanctions is discretionary and need not be exercised, exercised even when the court has determined that some wrongdoing has occurred. What's the result? Okay, we're going through this. First, the plaintiff has an excessive history of litigation that includes cases that were deemed frivolous and duplicative. See, so they can't ask for attorney fees because he doesn't have any money. He's in prison, right? So he doesn't have any money. So this is another form of sanctions. Plaintiff has had at least 7 civil rights complaints dismissed for being frivolous or malicious, or for failing to state a claim. Plaintiff's litigation record indicates many cases that courts have deemed meritless and duplicative. He also filed, I want to say it was 9 habeas petitions on his convictions. One of the Court of Appeals was like, we didn't even know which conviction he's talking about, so we're just going to dismiss this. It's like, we have no idea what he's talking about here. Dismissed one of his habeas petitions, which is now being brought to the Sixth Circuit, because apparently if you file multiple habeas petitions, the Eastern District or the district courts have to send it to the Court of Appeals. So it's going to the Sixth Circuit, and they might slap him with this too. I don't know. Well, this is the Eastern District of Michigan. This is not the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. All right. Second, there's a lot of reasoning here. Third, plaintiff is pro se litigant. Fourth, what is the ultimate outcome here? If the court could be confident, let's see, dismissal would deter plaintiff from further duplicate lawsuits for filing. Yeah, they're not confident in that. Nonetheless, the court has not yet warranted plaintiff of the risk that he will be deemed a vexatious litigator. Okay, so they haven't told him yet. This sounds like he's getting a warning. Sounds like he's getting a warning. Let's see here. As set forth, plaintiff has filed duplicative and improper materials. In this case, so many things. He just files random affidavits and letters. Let's see. Disposes of plaintiff's case going forward. The exercise of striking materials from the docket will not further the effect of expedited resolution of this case. What's just funny is that they say all this, and then like a month later, he files the motion we just went through and the affidavits we just went through in this very case. It's not an appeal. It's not a habeas petition. He just files it in this case. This was issued in January. Yeah, so January 22nd. So March 19th. So 2 months later, he files all that stuff we just read. Let's see here. reconsider the remedy if he persists in filing. Yeah, so he's getting a warning. He's getting a warning, and they will reconsider it. What do you think the chances of the judge ordering it after this latest round of 2 filings, by the way? He had 2 filings back to back.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's really hard to get. You really have to shoot for the high score to get a... It's hard to get a vexatious litigant thing, but once you get it, that's it. Other courts can basically use it as an excuse to hit you with the 2. So maybe... I mean, it's really hard to get it, and then what? I mean, like that's the thing about it. It's really hard to get.
Yeah, so he's getting a warning on this one. He's been warned now, and then, like I said, the motion to vacate that we just read. This is document number 117, and he also filed document 116, which is essentially the same thing, only it contains 1 affidavit instead of several affidavits. So after getting this warning. 2 months later, he's filed 2 more motions identical to each other. So thereby, like, duplicative filings. I mean, they're exactly the same thing. He just attaches more affidavits to the second filing.
Yes.
Oh, he's one of those just pains in the ass. You know, he's got nothing better to do with his time. He's sitting there for another 11 years. He's just going to file stuff.
Yes.
He needs to be banned from the typewriter. I don't know if the prison can ban him from the typewriter. Unfortunate name smiles. What? He's definitely just bored in prison. I mean, he's got another 11 years. He's been in since 2000, I want to say. I think he's been in since 2000.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It seems like he's been convicted of like multiple charges, and they just keep slapping them on him.
Let's see, 17 years. No, he's been in since 1997. No, I'm sorry. 2019. That's what I thought. 2019. So
he's been out a couple of times.
He's been in and out. His most recent, he was out. He went back in 2018, and his date of sentencing was 2019. And he's got 17 years minimum to serve. So that puts him in 2036 with a possible maximum sentence of 2086. And he is currently 52 years old. So I don't think he's making it to 2086. But so that's the story of this lovely gentleman here, whatever his name is. God, what's his name? Mr. Smith. We'll just call him Mr. Smith. Yeah, see, it goes by Smith. Derek Lee Smith. Yeah. That's Derek Lee Smith. That's his allegations against Sean, Kim Worthy, the current mayor of Detroit, and everybody else. And I just don't buy it. I just don't think it's credible. As fantastical as the story is, I just don't see it going anywhere, and I don't see it being very credible.
Oh, I agree.
Also, the feds have just charged. The feds or California just charged what's his name in the death of Tupac, right? The driver of the vehicle.
Yes,
I can't remember his name. There would be something when those charges were brought out. What, a year ago? Now I think more than a year ago. If there was any credibility to this, I just don't.
Oh yeah, well, I mean. Kind of like the whole Jay-Z lawsuit too. I'm sure there's credibility that Jay-Z did stuff, but the fact that lawsuit was so garbage, kind of ruins the idea that this specific event happened.
Right. Yeah. And I don't doubt that something happened in that hotel in 1997. I don't doubt that he was a bartender at Fishbones and got all excited when Diddy asked him to join him in a party, and he went, and he got naked with the rest of them, and was so, like, the most sincere thing in this whole case is his complaint, where he talks about, like, this is Sean, Puff Daddy,
yeah,
this is Sean Puff Daddy. He's got exclamation points in his complaint. And he was like, yeah, he's a really decent, normal guy. Wow, this was just amazing. I believe all of this. I was in my 20s. I was in heaven. I believe
I'm sure.
I just unfortunately can't believe the rest. But again, assuming this is all true, you know, part of the 570 pages, like the court was kind of outlining in the order, is that he was supposedly involved in some sort of financial investment with P Diddy and Bad Boy Records. If all of that is true, then the allegations in the complaint can also be true. Salvador Dali dropping bombs. Hey, I just read in the mornings I watch CBS Morning News on Sundays, and they just did an article about or a story about Salvador Dali's museum in Florida. I think it's Pensacola. And I might be sending Sal a thing or two in the mail because of that. Because there's some really cool art that I didn't know Salvador Dali created. He didn't just do like the weird melted clock oil painting. He did a lot of other weird things too. So you might want to keep some stuff.
Like, not just that one. He did all kinds of crazy shit.
He's got these naked models posed as a skull. He has like a rabbit telephone sculpture thing. He was just a weird dude. And I feel like Salvador
sounds like he was.
For Salvador to take on his moniker is absolutely appropriate.
Jeez.
Dali's in the market for secondhand real doll. Oh God. No, thank you.
Oh no.
You have a secondhand real doll you can send to Dali?
No. Dolly, you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to go find yours the same way most people find their. Go tuck someone at a truck stop.
Exactly. So that's what we have today, or that's what I have today. Sean, do you have a stream coming up?
Not sure yet.
Okay. I'm sending you guys over to Hella. She's got a stream later on this evening. It'll be early, but just throw something in the chat. Let her know I sent you guys there, so she quits complaining about that. And I don't have anything coming up. I'm gonna dive through these, and if I find something like really more like something really interesting or different or a different take on this or some more affidavits. There's so many affidavits. I just happened to randomly pull up another one involving the Tina victim. So I'm going to keep going through this. Wait, what am I waiting for? Hella has a stream later. She said she did, where her channel says she does at like 4:00 today.
Yeah, she's always got something going on.
Well, let me verify before I redirect you guys over there. Unless Salvador's like, no, I got a stream going on in 10 minutes. Let me see. Where are we? Yeah, she didn't tell you. Well, she changed it now. She changed the time. To like 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, she's got one today. Oh, yeah, she does. Okay. Are you watching more Rusty today? Scott wants to know.
More Rusty?
Is that me?
I don't know.
Oh, Righteous? Are you talking about Righteous? Righteous Gemstones, which is an amazing show. Sean,
oh yes, I've watched it. Yes,
I talked about that last night. It is the most amazing show.
It's hilarious.
It's the most sincere yet ridiculous show at the same time.
I like Cousin Billy, or what is that his name?
Baby Billy.
Yeah, Baby Billy. I love him.
All right, yeah. I gotta pull up what I pulled up last
One
time.
day they'll payday someday.
Oh, hang on. Whenever I've been telling people about this show, and whenever I want to show them like a clip to like get them into it, I show them the Baby Billy's toilet baby story.
Yes.
Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's amazing. Okay. I think we'll be okay if
I think you will for a second.
Hang on. I got to present it this way. Let me share it yesterday. There we go. I forgot to share it with you all. Here we go.
Take that cake. I was thinking about doing one of them natural water bursts.
Oh, a very good option for some people.
No, none of that hippie primitive stuff for me. I'm a wealthy man now. My child's gonna be born with the benefits of modern technology.
Well, my mama didn't have none of that stuff when I was born.
Yeah, but you was a toilet baby.
Oh, yeah. A who what?
A toilet baby. See, Tiffany's mom was obese. Went through her entire pregnancy without even knowing she was pregnant. Ended up pushing this one out when she sat down to do her bathroom visits, just like, Tiff just plopped down like a little old turd, just right down in the bowl, big eyes like this.
But it wasn't a turd, it was me.
That was you.
Just love that. I was like, all right, if you want to know what this show's about, that's what the show's about.
Yes, it's great. It's a great show.
Like family dynamics, but they're like the head of this giant church and have all the money in the world. But that's that's baby Billy. When he goes missing and she calls 911 and she's trying to explain, like, no, he's not an actual baby. He's a 65-year-old man. He's known by baby Billy.
Yes. Well, everything, like the whole show is great, but yeah, like Danny McBride is great in that show.
Yeah, all of them are. Every character.
Got John
and then,
Goodman in it too.
Yeah, John Goodman's in it, and then like a lot of these, I don't know if it's the same like producer, director, and showrunner as Vice Principals, but that's another great show. Is it?
Danny McBride was behind that. You know, Walton Goggins was in that too. So
yeah, and the woman who plays his sister is also in Vice Principals. She plays a teacher in that.
Yeah, that's a good show too.
Yeah, it's really good. So, all right. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to send you over to Excited Utterances stream. Again, just throw in the chat that I sent you so she knows that I care somewhat. And we'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys.
Goodbye, everybody.